What's up guys, it's Elliot here. Welcome to today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're filming a Q&A video and this was highly requested, so I'm super excited to be making this video. I just asked you guys on my Instagram to leave me some questions and they're already coming through right now. So I'm gonna try to get through as many of these as possible and I hope you enjoy this video.
My hands on myself. Think I'll dust them off, put them back up on the shelf. Kiss my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now.
Alright guys, so I'm going to take a break from doing work and try to answer as many questions as possible. I got close to 1,000 questions, so obviously I can't answer all of them in just one video, but I'm going to try to get through as many as possible. So the first question is, how do you stay focused when studying? And this is pretty relevant because I just got done studying, but my best piece of advice for this is to take a look at your entire assignment, all the work that you have to do, and then break it down into chunks and then set goals for yourself. So for example, I had to read chapters 1 through 3 recently, and so I'll take a look at the first chapter. I'll read it and I'll say, okay, this reading took me about an hour, so I might set goals for myself to finish chapter 2 and 3 within the next hour after that. So setting these smaller goals for yourself kind of helps you break down larger assignments. Someone asks, what is your major and what year are you in? I'm currently a sophomore majoring in human and organizational development, also called HOD, and minoring in business. Vanderbilt doesn't actually have a business school, and so people who are interested in business often take HOD, and what we learn is kind of like business psychology, but I like to call it like a liberal arts business major. Next question is, do you ever feel embarrassed when you film in public? I'm filming in public right now, and honestly in the beginning it was pretty difficult for me. I'd always look for places where it was secluded, there was no one around, but now I'm much more comfortable because I've practiced it a lot. And I think once you get out there and you try it a few times, it becomes less embarrassing. And as is true with anything in life, when you practice something, you become more comfortable with it, you become better at it, and I think that's true for filming in public as well. Danny asks, how tall are you? I'm around 5'10", 5'11". CC asks, what music do you listen to while studying? So if I'm studying for like a test or something, I won't listen to music. If it really comes to it, I will listen to classical music. But if I'm just doing homework or doing work, I do listen to music, usually lo-fi hip-hop, but I'll also listen to just music that I like. I'll drop my Spotify playlist down below if you guys want to check that out. Someone asks, how often do you party? I would say freshman year, I was going out maybe like once a week. But now that it's sophomore year, I'm kind of out of the mindset that I have to go out and meet everyone. And if I have time on like a Friday night or a Saturday night, then I'm filming or I'm editing a YouTube video. I have just so much on my plate that it's not a priority for me anymore. Someone asks, are you Korean? Yes, I am Korean. Next question is, who inspires you to be the best version of yourself and work hard? This is a great question. I think it's really important to have people that you look up to in order to emulate your life after your role models. I'm interrupting. I'm currently editing. It's the morning before I upload this video, but I lost the footage where I answered this question, so I'll do it right now. One of my biggest role models is Gary Vaynerchuk, who's an entrepreneur based in New York City, and I actually have his shoe. I got it signed by him last summer, but he inspired me to start flipping and reselling in high school, and he led me down the path of entrepreneurship, so he's definitely a huge inspiration for me. Another person that inspires me and makes me work harder is my friend Luana. She runs a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. But basically, she's about to enter college, so she's younger than me, but she works so hard. She makes a video a day, and she sets goals for herself. She tells me those goals, and then she just absolutely crushes them, and I think that's super awesome. Oh, and if we're ever in a call and I'm feeling lazy, then she'll curse me out and tell me to go do work, so that helps too. Trevor asks, what is your favorite aspect of college? And definitely my favorite aspect of college is the freedom that you get. You know, in high school, you have to go to class, and then after school you have clubs and orgs, and then after that you go home, you have homework and you have to study, and you have all of this, and it's kind of very structured in terms of when you do what, and then maybe you have your parents telling you to do things, and so you don't have a lot of freedom. But in college you have a big say in how you spend your time and what you actually do, And for me, that's amazing because I get to spend time making videos and doing things that I love. And so for me, the freedom is definitely the most attractive part of college. Nathan asks, what is your favorite thing about Vanderbilt? Definitely my favorite thing is that freedom that I get, so I can balance classes with everything that I love to do on the side. But maybe that's like a cop-out answer because I think a lot of colleges get that freedom. So I guess the next best thing is the community here is really, really close. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's a smaller university with only 7,000 students. My high school was 5,000 kids. And so that was an enormous high school. You really had to like stick to your niche and like you couldn't really meet other people in a sense. But here, because it is a small university, I feel like you have the opportunity to meet friends who are friends with your friends. And because it is a smaller university, I think there's a very collaborative environment rather than the competitive environment that some of the top tier universities face. Russ asks, what's your biggest regret and best decision in high school? I would say my biggest regret was not having more fun. I think I spent so much time in front of my computer, literally coming home from class and coming home from after school activities, and then going straight to my computer saying, okay, I gotta do work, and then just procrastinating for hours. And then finally when it was like 10, 11 p.m. I'd start to do work and then finally get it done at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. And that was like super unhealthy because I was behind the work kind of in my mind, okay, I'm being productive, but I was just procrastinating most of the time. And so if I just got my work done really quick and then spent the rest of my time doing things that I actually loved, then I think that I would have a much better high school experience where I was having more fun. But then the second part of that question was the best decision in high school. That was probably making my Instagram account because I wrote about Instagram in my college essays. I'm pretty sure that that's what got me into college because I think it's pretty unique. So for those of you guys who don't know, I have an Instagram account, a photography account that's separate from the personal Instagram account that I always promote. But that photography account taught me a lot about influencer marketing, about business, and that's mainly what got me interested in business. So I'm definitely thankful that I made the decision to go hard with Instagram and learn the ins and outs of social media. All right, so real quick, I have to jump on someone's podcast, but I'm gonna answer a lot more questions soon. I just need to do this, grab dinner, go to the gym, do all these things, but I'll bring you guys with me and answer questions whenever I can, so hopefully we can get through a lot more.
Won't bother me.
I'm going to try to knock out a few more of these questions. Someone asks, was Vandy your first choice? Vanderbilt was not my first choice. My first choice was New York University, NYU. I wanted to get into Stern. I did not. And I also applied early to Cornell. But honestly, I'm super glad I didn't end up at those schools that I put at the top of my list. I'm really happy at Vandy, and honestly, I couldn't ask for more. Sonia asks, have you ever considered studying abroad? Yes, I have. I probably will next year, second semester. That's the goal. I'm hoping to go somewhere in Europe. Raphael asks, how do you make your first year of college fun? I would say definitely try to meet new people, get outside of your comfort zone, try something new that you haven't ever done before. I think what's interesting about the freshman year dynamic in college is the fact that a lot of people, if not everyone, is kind of looking for new people to meet, looking for friends, and that's a super cool dynamic that you only get freshman year, so definitely take advantage of that and try to meet as many new people as possible. Next question, how do you think you got into Vandy? I did well on my ACT, and from my experience, everyone at Vandy has pretty good test scores, and so I think that's something specific to Vanderbilt University. But also, I talked about Instagram and photography in my college essays, and I think that helped me stand out because not a lot of high schoolers are doing that type of thing. And general advice for anyone applying to college right now, I would say definitely focus on what makes you unique and write about that in your essays. Daniela asks, how many colleges should I apply to? How many is too much? I would say there's not a specific number. I've probably applied to about 10, but I would say apply to a few that are safety schools, some that are match schools, and some that are reach schools. And so that way you kind of differentiate the type of schools that you apply to. Sometimes even safety schools will reject you because maybe you're overqualified, and this is actually something that happens quite often. But definitely apply to a variety of different schools at a variety of different levels so that you can pretty much guaranteed that you will at least get into one school. The only real downside to applying to a lot of schools is the fact that some schools have like an application fee or something like that. But I would say apply to any schools that you are genuinely interested in attending, because that is, at the end of the day, what you're deciding. You're deciding what college to go to. So if you're not genuinely interested in attending that school, then there's no point in applying. This next question is pretty interesting. Someone asks, what are some things you hated during high school but love in college? Reading is definitely one of those things. I never read for fun in high school. The only reading I ever did was for class. I did like textbook readings. I don't know anyone that likes textbook readings. If you do, good for you, but I personally don't. And I liked reading as a kid, but I think high school, middle school kind of killed that joy for me. And then now that I'm in college and I have time to read for myself, I do enjoy reading, and I have a ton of books that I like to go through, and I have a whole reading list that I'm trying to get through. But that is definitely one thing that I'm in college, I enjoy much more than I did in high school. Someone asks, how did you know what you were going to study in university? I knew that I wanted to study business in college because in high school I had a lot of experiences that were somewhat business related, and I really enjoyed the business elements of those experiences that I had. I'm gonna make a full video on this, like how to choose your major, how to choose what to study in the future, but that is kind of a quick overview of how I knew I wanted to study business. Annette asks, what was a turning point in your life? I definitely say last summer was a huge turning point for me. And that's because I really worked hard last summer. I think before my past summer, I wasn't someone who would say, yeah, I'm hardworking. But after last summer, I'd say I can confidently say that I am someone who is hardworking. And I think it's because last summer I was working on videography, photography. I was working on my business, and each and every day I was literally just working so hard that I think that work ethic really shaped who I am today. And even though that was just a few months ago, I think I'm a completely different person than I was before that summer, and that was definitely a huge turning point in my life. Someone asks, what do you want to do after graduation? I think it's a little bit too far down the road to say this is exactly what I want to do, even though I'm a sophomore. I think it's a while before anyone confidently says this is what I want to do after graduation. But it's crazy to think that in the past 2 months, so much has happened with YouTube that like who knows what will happen in 2 years. But as of right now, I would like to work at a startup or a tech company doing like business development. I do want to work at a startup rather than like a large corporation because I think there's more to learn in that environment. But again, we'll see. I don't know as of right now. In my ideal life though, I would be running a successful business by the time I'm out of college, and hopefully I would be working on that when I graduate. How do you manage your time doing homework, YouTube, and extracurricular obligations? I definitely do have a lot on my plate this semester, but what you get done in one semester depends on what you get done in like a month, depends on what you get done in a week and in a day. And so what I like to do is every morning I wake up and I schedule out my entire day using Google Calendar. I have a video on time management if you want to watch that, but basically that's how I make sure that I get everything done I need to in a single day in order to accomplish what I want to do in the long run. What did you get on the ACT? I got a 35. Like I mentioned before, that SAT, ACT score is super important for Vanderbilt specifically. Abby asks, where are you from? I currently live in Carmel, Indiana, and I grew up actually in Montgomery, New Jersey, which is right next to Princeton, and I was there up until middle school, but I currently live in Indiana, and then I go to school in Nashville, Tennessee at Vanderbilt University. A lot of you guys are asking about what my 5-year, 10-year plans are. And honestly, it's hard to see that far down the road, but ideally I would like to be running my own business, my own successful business, and I'd also like to be documenting that whole process with my videos. I just finished dinner. I'm gonna head to the gym now, and I'm gonna answer more questions there and when I get back, so Q&A is not over yet, but I gotta stick to my schedule.
Put 'em back up on the shelf. Kiss my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I've been feeling it since 1966. Might be over now.
Just got done at the gym. I'm dead tired, but I'm gonna try to knock out some more of these questions. Katie asks, favorite city you visited and city you want to visit the most? My favorite city is probably a tie between Vancouver and New York, which is weird because Vancouver is like the complete opposite of New York. Vancouver's super calm, super comfortable. It's like a 15-minute drive from any nature spot you could possibly imagine. The beach, like mountains, you got lakes, and then New York is obviously just like super busy, super hustle, and I love that, but I also love like the calm, serene side of cities as well. So it's a tie between the two. I'd probably want to live in New York after I graduate and for the majority of my life, but then eventually I'd love to like retire in Vancouver. Seashells asks, what qualities do you find attractive in a person, whether platonically or romantically? I'd say it's super attractive when someone is both hardworking and passionate about something. I think that tends to make me a better person because if they're passionate and hardworking, then they kind of like lead by example, and that rubs off on me, and that makes me a better person. And maybe that's a little bit selfish, but honestly, it's just about seeing the passion and drive in someone that's super attractive. Josh asks, why did you choose Vanderbilt over other colleges? That's a good question. For me, it came down to how much money each of the colleges gave me. Vanderbilt was pretty generous with their financial aid, on top of it being a great school, and so it was a pretty obvious choice for me. How many languages do you speak? I can speak 3 fluently. Wait, what? No, 2 fluently. I can speak English and Korean, and then I took like basic Spanish in high school, so I know a little bit of that. Someone asked, what inspired you to make a YouTube channel? I talked a little bit about this in my last video titled 50,000 in 2 months, but basically this past summer I was learning a lot of videography and filmmaking by myself while I was in New York, and then when I got to campus I saw that there was a huge opportunity with the college day in the life videos, so I made one, I posted it, it ended up doing really well, so after that I started posting consistently. Someone asks, did you want to go to Vanderbilt as a kid? I did not. In fact, I didn't even know it existed until high school, honestly, but I applied because my dad kind of showed me the school, and I ended up getting in. And now that I'm here, I'm super happy, but no, in high school, I didn't even know Vandy existed. Julia asks, how can I make money selling things I already own? This is a great question. I always talk about flipping and reselling, but I actually started off selling things that I owned first, just to get that experience in. So I recommend selling on like Facebook Marketplace, or eBay is a good one as well. Just keep in mind, eBay will take 10%, but it is a kind of guaranteed sale almost, depending on what products you sell. I do have a full like flipping and reselling guide on my Instagram story highlights, which should go over how to like list an item on eBay. So if you're interested, check that out. A lot of you guys are asking me about my camera gear and what equipment I use. I always link all my camera gear down in the description, so feel free to check it out there. Anna asks, what's your go-to method for taking notes for a class? It really depends on the class and what the professor is comfortable with. Even professors in college sometimes don't allow you to use your laptop or technology, and so in that case I use my notebook, but I do like to use my computer for certain classes, so it really does depend. Next question, average editing time per video / travel video. For my average video, I'm usually spending 2 hours of planning, 2 to 3 hours of shooting, and 2 hours of editing. For my travel videos, it can take upwards of like 30 to 40 hours to put that together just in editing, and filming by itself takes like a really long time. I can't even think about it, but it takes a really long time for the travel videos. I'd say another time consuming video are the day in the life videos. Those take all day to film, obviously, and then editing probably takes around 4 to 6 hours. Alright guys, I'll probably end the Q&A there. I was going to film more when I got back to my suite, but it's already pretty late, so I probably just need to go straight to bed when I get home. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll get to them. And if you want, join our Discord group, which is filled with high schoolers, college students, all different sorts of people who can help answer your questions. So feel free to join that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.